Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 8 of the Gibraltar Tradewise Chess Festival 2016 edition. This is in the Master section between up-and-coming player, I should say world-class player already. He's even higher rated than Vishwanath in India now. Harikrishna against Vidit. It's a really, really interesting game. Let's get to it. It's going to be a Tory London system. We'll go through the opening here. Bishop, G5. It's pretty much all book. So I find interesting so far. It's a D4 opening, queen pawn opening, and Black's got all his kingside pawns pushed already. All because of the dark squared bishop, which is going to be interesting here. Does Bantala castle on the king side or the queen side? Not castle at all. We're going to see. E4. Castles. That takes a lot of nerve right there. Bishop D3. Of course, we're not going to see, or I don't think we're going to see, or maybe we will eventually, depending on what castles. Once pawn takes, this opens up. We're going to see what Black does. E6. Knight G1. Interesting move there. Must be something that Harikrishna was working on. Knight A3 was the computer's move. Followed closer like Knight B to D2. I think that's a lot more human, a lot more just a natural move. Or castles. He says he go Knight to G1. Maybe he wants to push the F pawn. Knight finally takes. H takes. C5. D takes. D takes. Queen E2, he wants to keep the queens. It's a pretty even game, but it's pretty wild. Black's pawns are scattered all over on his king side. We're going to have to see. Queen to C7. Now say go knight to F3. He goes knight to H3 instead. The computer didn't like that very much. Rook to D8. F4. That was his main goal all the way. He was hell-bent on going F4. That's why the knight didn't go to F3. Who might have questioned Harikrishna? Queen to D6. Bishop C4. That's a good spot for that bishop. Now remember, Black has the bishop pair. So that dark-squared bishop's kind of ruling the board right now. Queen E7. Knight F2. Knight C6. So each have one more minor piece to develop. We're on move 17. That's really unusual. Interesting might have been A6. Then after E5, pawn, a bishop, Knight D7. I don't like that as much. Knight C6. Knight A5 going after the bishop. Bishop comes to D3. He wants the light squared bishop. He's not willing to give up both of his bishops. C4. Bishop comes back to C2. If knight had taken instead, after knight takes, bishop takes, rook B8. That would have been worth considering. After bishop C2, pawn takes, E5. Blocking out his own bishop. I know he almost has to do that, but I think queen to F6 was worth looking at. E5. He pushes the pawn up. You want that pawn going towards his king. Occupies some squares. B5. Knight F3, here comes the knight around the other way. Now both knights are on that side of the board. B4. He played pawn takes, queen takes, but he decided to go knight to G4 instead, threatening that H-pawn now. B takes, rook D6. He found a defender for the H-pawn. That's about a point advantage for Black on the computer, but I think it's a lot easier to play. Excuse me, White's ahead. It's a lot easier to play Black here. A ton easier. Queen e3. I think now if black isn't careful, white's going to close in for the kill. I'm just trying to figure out how white's going to get the bishop into play here. It's pretty much blocked off by its own pawn. There's really nowhere decent for it to go. How's it going to get over here? Rook b8. Knight takes check. You can play bishop takes, but after rook takes, queen takes, it's a little dangerous. And the knight on f3 is going to move in with the queen. So he just decides just to move the king out of danger. And then the knight goes to g4. King goes back to g8. Because he wants to guard this square here. Rook to b1. Rook takes, bishop takes. Queen to b7. Interesting. That's one of the computer choices, but rook to b6 I kind of like a little bit myself. Make white start reacting to black. But you want queen b7. Now he just goes king to f2, guarding the bishop with the rook. I don't think queen to b2 really amounts to much, to tell you the truth. So you want rook b6 instead. Now it means something. Now the bishop goes to c2. Now this is starting to get double-edged here. Now let's just take a good look at this. You're black. What is the most natural move in the world? Rook to b2. Natural move, and just like that, black loses. Give you an idea, the computer said he should have went bishop c2. Queen to e7 I think is the best move. Queen c7, but he's having a hard time as it is. When he goes rook to b2, that's the end. If you got queen e7 instead, a king moves up, knight b7. I think black can hold on, frankly. But after rook to b2, it's queen to g5, and it's over. Give you an idea, that's where Vidit, as black resigns. If rook takes the bishop on c2, the king goes to g3, and it's still over. Queen to b6 check, the king still goes to g3. f6 is probably the best move. Knight takes check, king to f8, knight to d5, and it's over. Absolutely over. You can go through all the scenarios, but black is doomed. So, nice win by Pantala Harikrishna. Nice guy, too. World-class player from India. Top GM. He's getting up in the world now. I believe he's in the top 15 now. So he's making a big, big climb. I read somewhere, or heard somewhere, that since Anand did so badly in this tournament, that Harikrishna now is the highest rated player in India. That's a big deal. Anyway, folks, that's one of the games from round 8 of the Gibraltar Tradewise Chess Festival 2016. I hope you enjoyed it. Look for other videos from this tournament, and look for upcoming videos in the next few days. The Zurich Chess Challenge is coming up. Nakamura is going to play. What I'm really looking forward to is March. That is the candidates final. I'm a big Nakamura fan because I am. I'm also an American, so that helps. But also Fabiano Caruana is American, is also in it. So it looks like there's a decent chance, a good chance, that an American might get to play in the World Championship. Now I'm 59 years old. I was a teenager when Bobby Fischer played Boris Spassky in 1972, which got me playing chess years and years ago. 43 years ago, if I do my math right. And it would be unbelievable to have another American win, lose, or draw just to get in the final. So look for those games in March. I'm really looking forward to that. And as I always say, folks, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.